Today we got a good one for you. We're going to be discussing the Louisiana voting ballot. And also we have a special guest that came to help to go over the ballot. Don't go nowhere. Class is in session.
Now we're going to go into the Supreme Court judge race. For this race, we have 3 African-American women that are running for this particular position. First up, we have Sandra Cabrinha Jenkins. Sandra was born in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. She has a degree from Southern University Law Center and LSU. She got her bachelor's in political science. The office and positions that she has held: she is a former assistant district attorney for the parish of Orleans and a former staff attorney Central Court of Appeal, 4th Circuit. Next, we have Piper Griffin. Piper was born in Demopolis, Alabama. She received her law degree from LSU. The office and position that she has served in is as Chief Justice of the Civil District Court. Her priorities focus on ensuring accessible justice and equal protection under the law. She also wants to promote accountability and professionalism throughout the judiciary. Finally, we have Terri Love. Terri Love was born in Birmingham, Alabama. She received her degree from Tulane University's School of Law, and the office and position she has held are as follows. She was appointed judge by the judges of the Juvenile Court of Orleans Parish. Next, Chief Deputy City Attorney for the City of New Orleans, and during her tenure, Judge Love was the lead author of the city's first domestic violence ordinance.
Next up, we have another race for judge, but this race is going to be for the Court of Appeals in the 2nd District. We have the race is between Joanna, Melanie, and Christopher. Christopher didn't have any information, so I will not be talking about him. Johanna, she was born and from Baton Rouge, and she got her law degree from Louisiana State University. Priorities, this is the direct quote from her: courage to protect our constitutional rights, including the right to life, free exercise of speech and religion, and the right to bear arms. She also is a conservative Christian. She has 27 years of experience in law. Now, Melanie was also born in Baton Rouge and also went to the same college, university. She served as the Chief Justice of the Civil District Court. So we have 2 different types of court. We have civil court and we have criminal court. Civil court is the court you go to if you're suing somebody, you're being sued. It's over disputes of money and property. For as criminal court, if you get a parking ticket or somebody is accusing you of a crime, then you will go to court and you can possibly go to prison from criminal court. Now, back to Melanie. Melanie, as I said, she served as chief judge on the Civil District Court, and she has 29 years of law experience. Next up, we got the race for district attorney. We got Landry versus Landry. First, we're going to start with Daniel. So they have a lot in common. Not just their last name, but how they started. They worked under the same man. They both worked under Nathaniel. So also, it says that Daniel, or Danny as he is called, he's a dedicated family man, a conservative leader, a lifelong community servant, and has a good record. He has experience and he knows the values of the people. Now we get to Donald. He was actually born and raised in Lafayette. As said before, he also started under District Attorney Nathaniel, and he served his country. He actually served in the military, and he has spent his entire adult life and career striving to help our community the best place to live and raise his family. So he is one He was born and raised here. He was born and he's been serving here. And for people who don't know, what a district attorney does, they manage all the prosecutors and the assistant DAs that represent the state and prosecute criminals.
All right, so the last group of candidates that we have are those that are running for mayor, Metro Council, City of Baton Rouge. First, we have Sharon, Weston, Broome. Broome is actually Baton Rouge's first Black female mayor, and she is the incumbent in this race. As her duty, she supervises and directs the administration of all departments, offices, and agencies of the government. She keeps the Metropolitan Council informed of the financial condition of the government with recommendations for actions, submits the annual budget to the council, and performs other duties prescribed by the plan of government, ordinances, and resolutions. Next, we have Matthew Watson. He's a Republican, and he's a member of the East Baton Rouge Metro Council. Finally, we have Denise Marcel. She's a state representative for District 61 and of East Baton Rouge.
Next up, we're going to be talking about the ballot initiatives that they got on the ballot. And we're going to be talking about the amendments that they want to change, how they want to change the state constitution. The first amendment is about abortion. So we know abortion is a hot topic right now. It is one that is can be a very partisan issue. It really divides people. But we are just going to inform y'all of what the ballot states. Louisiana Amendment 1, the No Right to Abortion in Constitution Amendment. So you can vote yes or no to this initiative. A yes vote supports adding language stating nothing in this Constitution shall secure or protect a right to abortion or require the funding of abortion. A no vote will not add the language. So what that language says, it will be added to the Constitution. It would say nothing in this Constitution shall protect a right to abortion or require the funding of abortion. So I skipped some of the wording on purpose because a lot of these ballot initiatives, they can put wording in here that can make it very, very confusing. So I tried to bring it out in the most simplest way. So this information is coming from Ballotpedia. I have the app, My Vote. Ballotpedia is a great app. And Ballotpedia is a website where they have all the candidates on there. You can see who's your candidate. And I'm going to open it up. So you can choose your address, whether you in Houston, Austin, Dallas, or Beaumont. You can choose your address, put in your address, then you can go to your ballot. It's going to choose who's on your ballot at your local election. So it go down the ballot and see who on your ballot, because when you go down to a local election, it all changes up. The Democrats voted overall no. They voted overall no because half of them support abortion. So they do not want to limit abortion. But Republicans were voted 100% yes. They want to put this into the Constitution so nobody is required to fund abortion. And we can see at the bottom how the Senate broke down their votes. So you can see the Republicans, all 25, voted yes, and Democrats were divided about half. So the next ballot initiative was not so partisan. We actually had total agreement from the legislators on this amendment. Amendment number 2, the include oil and gas value in tax assessments. So you can vote yes or no on this one. So the amendment says allow the presence or production of oil or gas to be taken into account when determining the fair market value of an oil and gas well. Or you can vote no, opposing the amendment, which will take it into account the presence of oil and gas into the fair market value. So everybody voted, and the Democrats and Republicans both were 100% in favor of this bill. Next up, we had the third amendment, which the Democrats and Republicans had 100% agreement on. So in this time, we have a lot of things going on. We have a whole pandemic going on. Louisiana is dealing with national pandemic and also dealing with storms and hurricanes. So they getting hit hard from both sides. So the amendment is on using the budget stabilization fund for dedicated disasters. So if you vote yes and you support this amendment, it will allow the Louisiana Congress through a 2/3 vote in each chamber to use up to 1/3 of the revenue in the rainy day fund to cover costs associated with federal disasters. Like when they say federal declared disasters, like the pandemic, this caused the whole world to shut down. This caused the U.S. to shut down. It caused Canada to shut down. It caused everybody to shut down because we have a pandemic we haven't seen. We have not even seen in our lifetime. So if we vote no, that they cannot use this budget for federal disasters like the pandemic, then it will stay in the budget. So, as I said before, Democrats and Republicans are in 100% agreement that need to pass this amendment so they can use the rainy day fund to help with this disaster.
The next amendment that we are going to talk about is the Expediency's Limit Growth Formula Amendment. And with this amendment, Amendment 4 will change the formula used to determine how much revenue the state is allowed to spend each year. If you vote a yes support amending the state constitution to remove the existing expenditure limit formula and allow the Louisiana legislature to enact a state spending limit formula through statute that does not allow more than 5% growth per year. A no vote opposes this amendment, amending the state constitution to allow the Louisiana state legislature to use up to 1/3 of the revenue in the budget stabilization fund to cover the state's costs associated with the federally declared disaster, thereby maintaining the restricted use of the fund according to forecasts and deficits. On this particular amendment, both Democratic and Republican parties voted 100% yes.
So I believe this amendment is also a response to the pandemic and all the disasters that are hitting the state of Louisiana right now. So the Democrats and Republicans are in full agreement. They need to change how they do the budget, and maybe they are loosening the limits so they can go a little deeper into it, maybe go into the deficit so they can help the cities and their state get through these disasters they're dealing with.
The next Louisiana amendment is number 5, and this is the payments in lieu of property taxes option. If you vote yes for this particular amendment, this vote supports amending the state constitution to authorize local governments to enter into a cooperative endeavor agreement with new or expanding manufacturing establishments and allowing the manufacturing establishments to make payments to the taxing authority instead of paying property taxes. If you vote a no, this vote opposes the previous agreement. On this particular amendment, Democrats voted 72% yes, and Republicans voted 92% yes. Here are some arguments being made on behalf of this amendment. On the side, public organizations support this amendment. It gives local governments an additional optional tool for incentivizing business investment, and it empowers local governments to negotiate a more front-loaded funding schedule for local needs without having to wait out the 8-year period. On the other hand, this gives another avenue for a manufacturer to get around paying ad valorem property tax. Instead of the tax rate being set by an election, it'll be based on how well a company can negotiate. Basically, this amendment is being made to get a lump sum of money up front from business owners. The next thing that we're going to talk about is the Homestead Exemption Special Assessment Income Limit Amendment, and this is number 6. If you vote against this amendment support amending the state constitution to increase the income threshold to qualify for the special assessment level for residential property owned by seniors and certain military and disabled persons from $50,000. This is actually the adjusted annual for inflation since 2001 to $10,000 per year beginning in 2026. Again, this has been adjusted annually for inflation. If you vote no, you oppose this amendment, thereby maintaining the $77,000 thereabout income threshold, which was set at $50,000 in 2001 and adjusted annually for inflation. For this one, Democrats voted 95% yes, and Republicans voted 98% yes. This special assessment level applies to individuals 65 years or older, veterans with a service-connected disability, members of the military, and individuals permanently totally disabled. Let's look at a few arguments that are being made about this amendment. On the pro side, more seniors are skipping retirement at 65 and are still in dual income households. Many older working residents have incomes above the current freeze threshold and deserve the break alongside their retired peers. On the other hand, as the population ages, we will have more retirees and fewer people paying full property taxes. Special assessments or freezes were created to help those on a fixed income, not so much for those that are gainfully employed. All right, y'all, so we are in the home stretch. This is the last amendment that we are going to talk about. This is amendment number 7, and it is the Unclaimed Property Permanent Trust Fund Amendment. If you vote a yes supports amending the state constitution to the following. Create the Unclaimed Property Permanent Trust Fund, also known as UCP, with the fund earmarked for payments of claims made by owners of abandoned property. Allocate funds above administrative costs received due to the Uniform Unclaimed Property Act of 1997 or its successor to the UCP Permanent Trust Fund until equal to the state's estimated unclaimed property's potential liability. Allocate any additional unclaimed property receipts and any investment revenue from the UCP Permanent Trust Fund to the state's general fund, and authorize the treasurer to invest up to 10% of the UCP Permanent Trust Fund in equities. A no vote opposes this amendment to create the UCP Trust Fund, dedicate fund revenue to paying claims from owners of unclaimed property, and allocate investment revenue and unclaimed property revenue above the state's estimate unclaimed property liability to the state's general fund. On this amendment, Democrats voted 93% yes, and Republicans voted 100% yes. And we are going to focus on some of the arguments being made for this amendment. On the pro side, putting unclaimed property into a trust fund will ensure it's protected for you. On the other hand, the UCP has existed for almost 50 years and has never made more claims than collections in a year. Thank you, Corey, for having me again today on your YouTube channel to help explain the Louisiana voting ballot. I do want to say that my thoughts and prayers are with everybody that has been affected by Hurricane Laura and Hurricane Delta. I completely understand what it feels like to be displaced, to be without. So I'm praying for you all, praying with you all. And please go out and vote. Early voting started as of October 16th. Probably already know that. But please go out, make your voice heard, go out and vote. And if you can't do early voting, at least vote on election day, which is November 3rd. This is a very important election, so please go out and vote. Again, I'm honored to have been able to be here today to help with the ballot. You can find me again on Facebook and Instagram at Dawine PR. Book your free discovery call on my website, and all of the information will be in the description as well.
Thank you, Dawine, for being here. And like she said, that's all we got for you. And remember to unplug and prosper. Y'all have a blessed day.